Hello, my name is Amy Scott. What we're going to teach you in this lesson is how to arrange the refrigerator. Only then can it have a positive impact on one's wealth. Based on my years of experience in Feng Shui, there is no problem with the layout inside the house. What door to kitchen? Nothing. And the whole community is also in very good condition. But its fortune just can't get up. A lot of times, it's actually the refrigerator, because the refrigerator will have cold air. But it can also help us. It helps us make food last longer and longer. So the refrigerator often represents the location of the treasury. It just needs to be in a good place. It can do this for our talents. It helps us save money, help us retain more money. And if the refrigerator is placed incorrectly, it's this cold air, the hot air discharged by this compressor. It will have a negative impact on our house. That is bad money. So what about the placement of the refrigerator? It's actually very important. So let's take a look at the whole course content. We need to see how the refrigerator is arranged. The first thing we need to know is, what is the meaning of the refrigerator on Feng Shui? What about the main nature of the refrigerator? It is a kind of thermal insulation function, plus the function of refrigeration. What about refrigeration? It generates cold air. As for insulation, you can preserve food. Let it not corrupt so quickly. So it's a treasury in nature. It represents storage. There in the kitchen, being able to place a refrigerator often represents wealth. Money can be retained. So we can watch. Just add a house. Especially modern people. Some people might say, what should ancient people do without refrigerators? What about the ancients? Rich people use ice cellars. For example, dig a place in the ground to put ice cubes. Or where the food is stored. For the ancient people, it is the library of the ancient people. And what about us modern people? It's a refrigerator. As long as it is modern, our house does not have a refrigerator. Most of us can break. The money he earned was quickly spent. He is all wealth. So the refrigerator is on Feng Shui. It is suitable for use by Wangkai Library. And we put the refrigerator. It is very taboo to open the door and see the refrigerator. Especially the gate. And what? The most taboo thing is the door of this gate. Directly facing the door that opens the refrigerator. Because when the refrigerator opens, this cold air will come out. It's the equivalent of a gate. What about the so-called sea sound, sea cold air? In fact, it means that the parties are prone to being blocked from going out. The future is blocked. What about the eyes? Saw cold air. See the tone? It often represents the villain's right and wrong to obstruct. So we are in the house Feng Shui. It is very taboo to open the door directly facing the refrigerator. And what about the color of this refrigerator? If it is brighter, like white, often the effect will be worse. If it is darker, like gray, relatively inconspicuous. Another example is something like this picture. Yes, it is the side of the refrigerator facing the door. It's not the refrigerator door facing the door. What about this situation? The good and bad effects are reduced by half. That means he met a villain. Half the impact of blocked futures. But it will still be subject to villains. And all kinds of things we can't see. It's called negative obstruction. Career blocked. Then someone will ask me, can I put a screen here? It's not okay to change a screen. Because it's essentially still because of the cold air problem. The best case scenario is either to change the refrigerator to another place. Keep it away from the gate. Or don't face the door. That is to say, put the refrigerator next to the door. What about here? Put another shoe cabinet. If it has a blocking effect. How about that effect? You can get it down quite a bit. Can be reduced to only 10%, 20%. As far as I know, many times, it's because the space of the house is too small. Especially in big cities. The kitchen space is too small. There is no way to put the refrigerator. So it's very easy to have this. Opening the door and entering the refrigerator. If there is really no way, be sure to put the refrigerator in the living room. Also be sure not to face the refrigerator directly to the door. Because it's the worst. You can put it next to it. Then put it next to it. Be sure to remember to take a cabinet. Or shoe cabinet. Either a screen or a locker. Entrance, etc. Block it in some form. What about the refrigerator? There is another situation that must be paid special attention to. Just don't face the stove. In fact, this situation is relatively rare in modern words. Because from the moving line, open the refrigerator while cooking, he's not well. So many times when houses are being built, he wouldn't put it out there. Harder to meet. If you encounter one thing, money is blocked. Because the refrigerator is cold air. Cooker for fire for water. It's called fire and water. It represents when the parties make money, will be hindered. Like you could have made 1 million. As a result, someone blocked you. You can only earn 500,000. This is called money obstruction. The third one is, don't put too much debris on the refrigerator. What if there are sundries on the refrigerator? Represents right and wrong to make money. And this is a lot of money. What should be more said is his personal coffer. That means there will be a lot of things to spend his money on. Spend his money. Our refrigerator. The top is best to be neat and clean. Another is if there is a refrigerator at home, but he doesn't use it all year round. Or what's in the refrigerator all year round. But more than half of them may say that I am flat. They don't cook often. What about friends who don't usually cook? And what about people who don't usually use refrigerators? It is best to change to a small refrigerator. Then, usually put some water in the refrigerator. Water we can drink. Drinks we can drink. Or ice cubes. At least half full. Otherwise it means less deposit. This can also be verified. If the refrigerator is empty all year round. Basically you can just cut off this person's coffers. Is this the money he saved? Just like this refrigerator. People who don't cook put some drinks in it. Put some snacks. Ice cream and frozen food are okay. But it is very taboo that the refrigerator is empty. If you are a regular cook, just put it away normally. However, it should be noted that don't make the refrigerator too dirty, especially the smell. If the refrigerator smells bad, most likely it will have some money. It's the money saved by the parties. It will be spent inexplicably, or to help someone wipe their butt, like a child, or something happens at home. Then you have to spend money to deal with things, because it smells bad. So what about people who don't cook often? If you really don't cook it often, then try to keep the refrigerator clean as much as possible. Do not put food in the refrigerator. Then let it get moldy. Rotten if rotten, you can break. This homeowner is the person who lives in this house. He has money he doesn't want to earn. What about another level? We can also say that the person is lazy. Easy money that can be made. And then because of his own personality, he doesn't want to move. Don't want to do it. So a lot of money was lost. And that eventually led to the origin of this money. It has to go. Let's get to our topic again. How should we store our refrigerator best? Our refrigerator, from our dragon and tiger Feng Shui. We all know that. Dao's Wu Qing Long right white tiger. The kitchen is mainly based on a stove. Our stove is where our body is. The kitchen can often represent a woman's ability to work. And the source of the family's wealth. What do we think? Just look at this sitting image of a stove. Do we treat this as a person? What about the so-called sitting image of the stove? Where we drive the gas stove is where we go. So we're standing on the stove, towards where the gas stove is on. After knowing the sitting image, on the left-hand side of the place where he looks like, we are called King Long Fang. The right-hand side is called White Tiger Square. If the stove is placed in our King Long Fang, often have a good career. Dali Treasury, that is to say, the money earned by the parties can be saved. And what about his career? It's helpful. It's got a positive meaning. And if it is placed next to the white tiger, like this picture, it's the stove, and there's the refrigerator on the right. They're not very active on behalf of women. And it also means that he can only make some stable money. For example, the company's monthly dead salary. Suppose you were $10,000 a month. What about your colleagues in the industry? Maybe extra money or performance bonuses. He might be able to get another 10,000. So my colleague is 20,000. But what about you? Just take 10,000. The refrigerator is by the tiger's side. It often means that there is a lot of money. Career money you can't get. Then you can only earn your base salary. Bonus or something. Often take less than expected. So the placement of the refrigerator? We must focus on putting it on the edge of the cage. Then you have to avoid. Don't face the refrigerator. Or don't put the refrigerator behind the stove. Of course, this situation is relatively rare in modern times. What about others? Like opposite doors, it's best not to happen. So basically just his kitchen. It's no problem. The whole structure of his house is fine. It's all about wealth. That concludes the lecture. Favorite friends, the Indian subscription follow Xiaohong Heart. Easy to learn content will be updated every week.